Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who figure related video. Yes, today I'm taking a look at the latest Doctor Who figure news, or some unexpected news. As character options normally like to give us a bit of a heads up about when figs are going to drop, normally the night before in an email saying, hey, by the way guys, there's something going to drop tomorrow morning. This came out of the blue, and that is of the Third Doctor and Sonic Screwdriver Vortex edition from the Daemons. Now, being the resident Third Doctor fan on YouTube, I feel like it is my duty to report the news about our great Lord John Pertwee.
All praise to the Great One!
So the way this was going to work, we're going to talk about the set and, you know, break it down, talk about the new elements and what I think about it, the price, all that type of thing within it, because this is the first of 5 online exclusive sets this year. And, you know, we'll be talking about what can this mean for the Doctor Who figure line, what can we see in the future, just going off the template of this pack here. So without further ado, let's dive in to the actual set itself. The set itself, so what do you get in this set? So you get a Third Doctor figure as he appeared in the Daemons / the Mutants. This is where the Pertwee brain rot kicks in quite strong, because he does have this costume in the Mutants, though he does have a little costume change in the Mutants, as randomly, sort of halfway through a scene, you see Pertwee in his wellies, not in his Chelsea boots, because, you know, the Third Doctor's got to go down to the planet Solos, but because Pertwee's a bit of a diva, he's not ruining his Chelsea boots in a quarry. We love you, John Pertwee. So yeah, this doubles up as a mutant Third Doctor figure costume as well, but this set is marketed as for Daemons, and that makes sense with the head sculpt what we've got on this figure. We get a Third Doctor roleplay item of the Sonic Screwdriver with this new electroplated finish, what we've seen on the 14th and 15th Doctor's online exclusive Sonics. We get a tiny Third Doctor Sonic Screwdriver and the Crystal of Kronos and a giant maggot. So that is what you're getting for £44.99. I'll talk about the price in a minute. So let's take a closer look. The presentation for this set I think is really stylish. It's the same packaging what we've seen for the Vortex edition of the 15th Doctor and Ruby. It's collector friendly, so if you want to keep, you know, enjoy and experience the figures and the stuff that features within this set, you can, and then you can just, you know, slide it back in the box, and, you know, you've got this nice sort of presentation piece there. For it, we've got the wonderful Third Doctor style guide there with the Vortex, which is wonderful, this lovely red and orange, which really complements the Third Doctor figure. And I love that the backdrop for this set is the Time Monster TARDIS roundels, which is really lovely. With that presentation out of the way, let's take a look at the Third Doctor himself, shall we? So the base figure for this is the Third Doctor from the Sea Devils, what we saw released back in 2009. So we haven't got the Vortex style articulation, what we saw on the 15th Doctor and Ruby, though I would love to see all the Doctors get sort of that sort of style treatment, because I would love to have a Third Doctor figure where he can put his hand on his hips and give that, you know, Pertwee attitude and that classic Pertwee stance. So I think in terms of the Vortex edition, how this sort of equates to that, I think it's very much down to the paint application and the deco for this, because we do have a new head sculpt for this Third Doctor figure, so I believe that this uses the same technology what we've seen over the past couple of years, you know, with the sort of non-painted faces, but it's sort of moulded plastic, and then sort of the paint applications applied over it to give it that sort of more photoreal look for the figure. So the head sculpt, as you can see, it's very reminiscent, I would say, of sort of Pertwee from season 7. I think the head sculpt reminds me of the Third Doctor you see in the title sequence. You can see sort of the bouffont's not quite there, it's quite slick and quite tame for the bouffant. And I think for season 8, Pertwee's hair, it was the bouffant was trying to break free, and I think depending on the photos you see of the Daemons, you know, he does have sort of the flatter hair, and then some publicity shots he's got sort of the more iconic Pertwee bouffant hair there, which is lovely. And I've always loved the Pertwee Daemons costume. I think it's one of his iconic looks, and it being, you know, Pertwee's favourite story, you know, it makes sense to get this figure, and it's lovely to have a Third Doctor figure with his cloak with the lovely purple sort of satin lining there. It really complements the sort of red velvet jacket. You've got the wonderful recreation of the paisley pattern on the cravat there, which is wonderful. We have the Third Doctor with his gloves. Now, this sort of being a Vortex edition, I wouldn't say this is a criticism. I think it would be lovely if they could have give alt hands. So you've got the gloves of the Third Doctor, and also you can get sort of the standard Third Doctor hands as well, just to make it seem a little bit more of a sort of I guess sort of a complete look, that you can get sort of both versions of the Third Doctor there, that it's sort of a definitive Daemons Third Doctor, if you will, by having that. But you know, that's just a little minor little thing to point out here. But yeah, really nice. I like the paint applications, what you see on sort of the hair. Yeah, it's looking rather nice, very sort of standard, what you'd expect really. So yeah, really nice sort of applications. It looks like there's a dark wash on the velvet jacket to sort of really give it that sort of velvet sort of texture and look, which I really do appreciate. I'm really happy to see this Third Doctor variant be released. It's one of his iconic looks, and it's a figure I've wanted for a long time, and it just, yeah, makes sense for them to finally do it. It's great to see it get the Vortex spruce up. In terms of the sonic screwdriver, so it's very much the sonic screwdriver what we saw, you know, be released I think in 2010, 2011 from Inforbidden Planet. I wonder if we'll have the correct sound effects, because I know that there's been some slight variations with the classic Sonic with the sound chip, but that's been given the nice sort of metallic electroplate finish, which, you know, I think looks better on a classic Sonic compared to sort of the new series one. Well, in terms of the 14th Doctor one, I think it worked for the 15th Doctor, and I think that it looks quite wonderful on the classic Sonic there. But in terms of accessories, for the Third Doctor figure, we get the Crystal of Kronos. So that's lovely to see that get re-released for people who missed out on that. And then we get the classic Third Doctor Sonic, what you should get with a Doctor figure really. And you get a giant maggot. Again, the Third Doctor and giant maggot, one of the rare classic figure sets, so it's great for people to finally experience that, and that's been given some new paint applications by the looks of it. In terms of accessories, because this is a sort of a Daemons Third Doctor figure set, now this just might be me being a little bit cheeky and wanting a little bit extra, but it would have been really cool if we got the Bessie remote control, what we see in the Daemons, because the Big Chief Third Doctor figure came with it. But I think it would be a lovely little addition to have sort of the Bessie remote control. So the set itself gets a massive thumbs up from me. Being a Third Doctor fan, this is an easy day one pre-order without hesitation. But then comes in the price for this being priced at £44.99, which, when I first saw it, I thought, ooh, that's a little bit steep. And then I sort of started to sort of break down the set overall and sort of start to price it out. So I remember when the original Third Doctor Sonic Screwdriver was released in Forbidden Planet, that was priced at £25. And then this new Sonic Screwdriver has the electroplated finish, so that's going to bump up the price for that Sonic overall. Then you have a Third Doctor figure, so that's probably like £15 there, and then you've got a new head sculpt as well. So, you know, that's already sort of balancing out, and then you've got the accessories there, which I guess that's another £5, so I guess it sort of does just about equate to £44, even though I would say 40 quid just seems a bit more reasonable, I would say. I think that when you do break down the individual elements, it makes sense, but yeah, I can see why people probably would think this is a little bit steep. So what could we see in the future? Well, I think the Fourth Doctor seems a pretty safe bet. I can see that we're going to get a sort of a redux of maybe a Season 17 Fourth Doctor with the pushed up lapels, so you can put the scarf under the lapels, that'd be great. And maybe even a redux of the Pyramids of Mars Fourth Doctor, where we have the sort of new sort of woolen texturing for the trousers, what we saw on the Terror of the Zygons Fourth Doctor and the Season 12 Fourth Doctor in the robot set, which would be lovely. But in terms of accessories for that, could we finally see the Fourth Doctor get his bag of jelly babies? I think that would be a really neat idea. With the Fifth Doctor, could we finally, you know, give the Fifth Doctor his cricket ball accessory? It's just lovely little world building accessories, which I think would be wonderful for this. Just sort of build out that Doctor, give them their sort of key accessories really, and little world building things from that era. Maybe even Turlough's crystal, you know, that'd be great. And for the Sixth Doctor, could we finally get a release of the Sonic Lance and the Sixth Doctor from his sort of appearance from Trials of a Time Lord, so a new, Colin head sculpt with the big curly hair. I think the concept of this is a great concept, Doctor, some world building accessories, and, their sonic screwdriver. It's a nice sort of balance of, here's a Sonic for your collection, here's a figure for your collection. I think that this is a great way of revisiting these classic Doctor's figures and giving them a spruce up and sort of, making them more in line with the recent 15th Doctor figure by giving them sort of a new head sculpt, so they sort of all sort of feel very on the same page really. Granted, the articulation's probably not going to be updated, but I think the the head sculpt giving that more sort of photorealistic look will only benefit these figures. And I think the 10th Doctor is probably the figure that needs a complete new reworking. So yeah, I think a 10th Doctor figure would be great to see, because I can see them doing sort of electroplated sonic screwdriver for him, and a few new little accessories would be wonderful. So I think that this is a great concept going forward. So it'd be very interesting to see if the other 5 exclusives are going to be Doctor related, or it's going to be like the Ruins of Skaro set. That's going to be very interesting to see overall. But yeah, it's looking good. This is a great start for the character options line in 2025, and I'm not just saying that because it's the 3rd Doctor, so I might be a little bit biased there, but it's looking very good. So yeah, I think the core concept is a cool one, and I can't wait to see what we have in the future. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this 3rd Doctor and Sonic Screwdriver Vortex edition, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever that will be. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the review of the 3rd Doctor Vortex figure. Bye bye.